This is Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6. Coverage you can count on.
Tonight at 6, only Channel 9 got access to documents detailing how a deadly shooting went down, taking the life of a 6-year-old girl.
It gives me a sad heart because you think about these are young children.
Now, community members are saying it's time to find a solution to youth violence. And we're learning new information tonight about the moments before and after a 6-year-old girl was killed in her home. Good evening, I'm Greg Warmith.
And I'm Martha Sagowski. We first brought you this report back in August after teenagers involved in a gang dispute shot up the wrong house. Only our Channel 9's Felicia Ashley has been reporting on this case since the night it happened. And Felicia, you obtained investigative documents that map the route before and after the shooting.
That's right, and this is a copy of that map that was physically within those documents, and what it shows is 2 stops before and after the location of where that young little girl was killed. My photographer and I actually physically drove through every single stop and followed this map from the first stop to the last, which was the hospital. Takes about 50 minutes. Now, within the next 2 months, some of the suspects are expected to be for the hearings that they have. Channel 9 will be there to bring you the latest details. Reporting live in Orlando, Felicia Ashley, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
New right now at 6, a Volusia County woman has been indicted on capital murder in the death of her teenage son. Talia Nelson is accused of neglecting, physically abusing, and ultimately murdering her 14-year-old son last month. According to investigators, the victim was severely malnourished and dehydrated, weighing only 33 pounds. Again, he was 14. A grand jury handing down the indictment this afternoon, charging Nelson with first-degree felony murder, aggravated manslaughter of a child, and aggravated child abuse.
A death investigation is underway tonight in Orange County after a woman died in custody. It happened around 3 o'clock this morning along Crystal Glen Boulevard and the Central Florida Parkway. Deputies say a woman was knocking on doors and acting erratically, at one point throwing a large paver stone through a window. Deputies were able to secure the woman, who then became unresponsive. They say they started rendering aid and took the woman to the hospital, where she later died. The deputies involved are on temporary paid administrative leave.
Sad news to report. A Marion County K-9 deputy died today, days after someone shot him. Deputies brought Leo with them when responding to a domestic incident on Saturday. A man at that scene started shooting when deputies showed up. The sheriff's office said Leo was shot rushing to protect his handler. Leo's killer was killed during the incident. Leo joined the agency in 2021. Again, that dog, that canine, killed while trying to protect his handler.
That is a shame. Well, tonight, there are questions surrounding who is going to pay to keep your kids safe at school in Flagler County. Right now, deputies patrol the schools, but amid a fight over the cost, that actually could be changing. Channel 9's Demi Johnson is live in Flagler County. And Demi, the county sent a letter to the superintendent trying to figure out where that money is going to come from.
And Greg, depending on how all of this plays out, the school district could end up covering the $1 million that they had been getting from the county for about a decade now. But both the county and the district are stressing that this is only the very beginning, very early stages of a budget discussion. And so far, no official decisions have been made. And the county and district are scheduled to meet on February 28th to begin these discussions. Live in Flagler County, Demi Johnson, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And a proposal to allow chaplains on school campuses is moving forward. The measure would let school districts and charter schools have volunteer chaplains on campus for support programs and be there for the students. The measure advanced in the state Senate today. Chaplains would be required to undergo background checks. A similar House bill is ready to go before the full chamber.
State senators have approved a revamped bill that would require public schools to teach communism and its history. Senators argued and agreed with House lawmakers that lessons should grades as early as the kindergarten grade. They say the curriculum would have to be age appropriate and include teaching various concepts. The bill's sponsor says young people are viewing communism right now in a positive light.
If we fail to educate children on what this truly means, the pain, suffering associated with it, we're failing in our prime cause as parents, as leaders in the community,
Public schools currently teach communism in a 7th grade civics and government class and in high school social studies courses.
Residents in an Orange County neighborhood are still trying to wrap their heads around a shooting that killed a 24-year-old man last night.
It happened along Epson Oaks Way near Orange Blossom Trail, and Channel 9's Daryl Matthews spent the day talking with the residents there about what happened last night. And Daryl, what did they tell you?
Yeah, Greg, the residents that we spoke with today say that they were concerned about the shooting last night for two reasons. One, because they haven't seen that much law enforcement presence in this neighborhood in years. And another, many of them want to know that suspect, if he's still out there. Investigators are still searching for cause of that shooting. As of yet, they have not confirmed if there is a person of interest. We're live in Orange County. Daryl Matthews, Channel 9, Eyewitness News.
Orange County is on track to become the first county in the state to clear medical debt with leftover COVID cash. The county is setting aside $4.5 million to wipe out the medical debt of upwards of 100,000 Orange County residents, with only $23 million in leftover American Rescue Plan funding available. Commissioners had to balance existing priorities, including funding mental health and homelessness. The mayor says the current plan for those leftover funds is a compromise that addresses housing needs, public safety, and more.
All of those things are going to be able to continue to be done in this community. What we have done is added one additional layer, and that's to address medical debt.
The county still has to iron out the details about who will qualify for medical debt relief, but the county needs to spend all of their leftover COVID cash by the end of 2026.
Orange County is still struggling to meet state standards for its 911 center, but data shows it is trending right now in the right direction. We first told you back in August how the 911 center has not picked up some of its calls within the required 10 seconds. That included calls from people being shot at the time. The sheriff's office blamed staffing shortages and technology changes and told us they were making changes. Data shows pickup times continued to get worse until the beginning of the year, when the implemented a new system for non-emergency calls that diverts them away from the 911 center.
So when people are calling the 911 center, the non-emergency line, now those calls are being diverted through a phone tree and getting to the right place.
The sheriff said the center is still offering bonuses to new dispatchers and staffing has improved.
The embattled Mount Dora city manager has agreed to resign pending city council's approval tonight. Patrick Comiskey came under fire for micromanagement of his city, unfairly favoring his assistant and interfering with police operations. He was suspended last month. City council was supposed to hear his rebuttal tonight as he asked to be reinstated. The city staff told us that meeting was canceled when he signed a separation agreement. Council will review and approve that agreement.
With more than 700 titles removed from school libraries, one local school district says book banning has become a, quote, burdensome process.
We'll review it to see if it might be viable for a younger grade.
Only Channel 9 sat in on the lengthy discussion as board members say the pressure is on. Tom?
Well, after a gorgeous day today, we are still gaining about a minute of extra daylight each day as we head closer to spring and summer. Temperatures, though, are not going up just yet, but I'm updating when they will warm back into the 80s.
Sky Witness 9 on Channel 9 Eyewitness News, bringing you closer to the scene during live breaking news. Sponsored by attorney Dan Newland.
Severe weather updates on WFTV are driven by Toyota of Orlando and Toyota of Claremont.
The burden of book bans is weighing on one local district.
Today, the Orange County School Board had a lengthy discussion about what it calls a burdensome process with thousands of titles reviewed in an effort to keep up with the new state laws. Only Channel 9 reporter Ashlyn Webb spoke to board members and staff who put the blame on Tallahassee.
All right, Ashlyn, thank you. And this afternoon, we saw another successful launch from our Space Coast.
SpaceX launching an Indonesian communications satellite atop a Falcon 9 rocket. Crowds gathering around Brevard to see that rocket lift off from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. Just last week, SpaceX launched back-to-back missions for the U.S. Space Force and NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative.
I've seen them from far away, and I've seen one up close, but that was just neat to be able to see the tail and to be able to see the reflection of it up in the sky, and to share it with him was kind of cool, too.
Beautiful day to be outside seeing that. SpaceX plans to launch Crew 8 to the International Space Station as soon as March 1st. A lot of folks heading out there to see it.
It's cool, and we had a beautiful day for it.
Boy, yeah. And now, finally, we keep gaining daylight by the day, and we can show you our beautiful sunset. By the way, sunset is when the very top of the sun's disk falls below the horizon, but we're catching it there just a few seconds away. Downtown Orlando, fantastic, 67 degrees, winds fairly light, and very low humidity. In fact, the dew points, which is a measurement of the amount of moisture in the air, they measure this in degrees, just like a thermometer would temperature. But anytime we have dew points below 70, it's a treat. Anything below 50, it's pretty dry, much less 30s and 20s. So no rain with this. It also means we're going to cool down quickly at night, which we're going to do also up in Daytona Beach. Your dew point's a little bit higher near the water, but it's still going to be very nice. Temperatures falling back into the upper 40s by early on in the morning, 45, 46. We had 35 up at the Terry Ponderosa, as I call it, up in Apopka this morning with frost on the grass and on the rooftop. So these rural areas are still going to see some patchy frost overnight tonight, but calmer weather continues really for the next couple of weeks, coming in off the washout we had last weekend. The next 2 days are dry with those chilly nights. Friday afternoon and early evening rain, but it will pass quickly, and then we're going to dry out again and turn warmer for next week. But tomorrow's going to be almost exactly like today. We had 70 for Metro Orlando. Will be about the same for tomorrow. And then our next front will get here on Friday morning through the early to mid-afternoon. It will pass through fairly quickly. Here's how the European model handles this. And both the Euro, the GFS, they're all pretty close on the timing here. By Thursday evening, we still have a warmer day and a few more clouds, but dry weather. Here's the lunch hour. So from daybreak to the lunch hour, moving through Gainesville, Ocala, Metro Orlando from about 2 or 3 o'clock until around 6. It won't last 2 or 3 hours. It'll last only about a half hour where you are. And then moving farther south, and it looks like a great looking weekend. Here's Longwood, Lake Mary. Temperatures for you will be slowly warming up. Our rain chance, the only one we'll have, is going to be on Friday. And then for Palm Bay, Melbourne, the moisture will actually dry up some by the time it gets to you. So you'll see less rainfall, but it's okay. You've already had twice your normal rainfall for the winter so far, at least in Melbourne. 7-day forecast, weekend always in view. Mid-70s, as warm as we get this go round before our next cold front drops us back into the 60s and 40s again. But I do have 80s by the middle part of next week. We'll be right back.
Download the WFTV weather app. Get a localized forecast from Tom Terry. Just search WFTV. Brought to you by the law offices of attorney Dan Newland.
Involved in a car accident? Call me now, 407-888-8000.
Watch Eyewitness News from any device with Eyewitness News Livestream, sponsored by Bogan Munz & Munz. Choose results. Choose Bogan Munz & Munz.
This sports segment is sponsored by Southeast Steel, where you get the best deal.
In a milestone year, Hendrick Motorsports returns to victory lane in the 66 Daytona 500. On the team's 40th anniversary, to the day, William Byron wins his first Great American race, and his teammate Alex Bowman comes in second. He made a bunch of mistakes in that race and still won, so just never give up. You never know what can happen. And that wraps up a fun week of racing coverage, guys. It was awesome. Despite the weather, they still got all the races in. We had a fun time. Greg and Martha, back to you.
I think whoever applied all that tape to Austin Hill's car should get a
huge medal.
Piece of money. I mean, he had that whole car taped together and it was still fast.
Yep.
That was cool. And 24 wins in 2024. Jeff Gordon's car. I love that. Thanks, Alex, and thanks for watching Channel 9 Eyewitness News at 6.
ABC's World News Tonight with David Muir is up next. Greg and I look forward to seeing you back here live tonight at 10 and 11.
Take care.
It's going to shake up your day if you don't know what to expect.
You may need the umbrella at lunchtime. You may not need it on the way home.
We'll worry about your commute, what's going to impact you on the roads.
We're here to help you prepare for it.
Channel 9 Eyewitness News this morning.
Time and temperature is brought to you by Morgan & Morgan.